Hello, and thanks for joining us for this week's State of Events. I'm Thelma Annan.
And I'm Michael Overby. Let's get to today's top story.
The FBI and Homeland Security are stepping to assist the San Francisco Municipal Transportation Agency. The agency's computers were cyber-hacked during Thanksgiving weekend, which led to disruptions to the ticketing systems. Iolani Gray is in the studio to give us updates on this story.
Thank you. As the SFMTA has learned, all it takes is one click and you can find yourself on the other end of ransomware security. Researchers said the use of this strain of cyber attacks has spiked in recent weeks. This sheds light to a new hacking epidemic that can affect other agencies and businesses.
You've been hacked. 3 words no one wants to see on their computer screen. Unfortunately, this is exactly what happened to Muni, halting some of their systems over the holiday weekend. As a precaution, riders were greeted with handmade notes saying out of service and Metro free.
I was like, is this like part of Black Friday deal or something? I have no idea. I didn't know it was out of service.
Muni was asked to pay a whopping $73,000 in Bitcoins to get their computers unscrambled. They refused.
I think it's terrifying. I really do. If they can start doing this, here, we're not safe anywhere.
Ransomware is a malicious software that blocks access to a computer until a sum of money has been paid. The Examiner reported the cyber attack started on an agency office computer and spread throughout the system, affecting emails and ticketing booths. Krebs, a cybersecurity company, says the issue is network segmenting. It's important to have computer networks separated so that one area cannot be affected by another. This type of cyber attack should serve as a cautionary alarm to other computer-operated transportation agencies.
As we know, computers are everywhere. Krebs suggests a couple ways to protect yourself. 1, make sure your antivirus software is up to date, schedule backups on all data, and put children and others on limited network accounts. We will post all of these suggestions on our State of Events Facebook page. I'm Iolani Gray reporting for State of Events. Back to you at the desk.
Construction of the final 5% of the Dakota Access Pipeline has been on hold, at least for now. The federal government ordered a stop to the project, so the Army Corps of Engineers says it will explore alternate routes. State of Events' Abene Clayton is live with an update.
Some praise the Obama administration for denying a permit that would allow construction under the Missouri River, just half a mile from the Standing Rock Sioux Reservation. But the final decision on construction will be in the hands of the Trump administration. The U.S. Army has called for a full environmental impact statement on the pipeline.
It feels good, but I think that we also need to keep in mind that we need to be ready to keep going.
The impact statement can take years to complete. In the meantime, protesters are advised to go home.
The chairman of Standing Rock asked the protesters to go home. Everybody who ever grew up in North Dakota knows how dangerous it is for people to be out in the elements. That also endangers first responders.
But the fight may not be over. Donald Trump has expressed support for the pipeline, saying it will create jobs and has no environmental impact.
The Keystone Pipeline, first of all, I'd approve it because it's thousands of jobs, okay? I would approve it so fast, so fast.
Some suspect that the pipeline will go through because of Trump's financial ties. He has an over $500,000 investment in Energy Transfer Partners, the company that's building the pipeline. The U.S. Guardian's online publication also says that ETP's chief executive has contributed over $100,000 to Trump's presidential campaign. Live in San Francisco, I'm Abene Clayton, State of Events. Back to you in the studio.
It's one sentence no student wants to hear. The CSU and UC are considering a tuition hike for the upcoming year.
State of Events has prepared a story to fill you in, and I found out how this may impact you as a student. A college education is a necessity to survive in today's workforce. But with costs on the rise, how does the CSU system plan to meet demands of the state while also cutting its budget? This will be known as the first tuition increase in nearly 6 years, and none will get hit harder than students' wallets. As of now, it is expected that the CSU system will fall short of $168 million for its proposed 2017-2018 budget. The state is looking for students to pick up the call, but some simply can't answer.
Well, I already spend enough time working and then trying to find time for homework and everything, and now I could hardly pay for classes as it is, and these tuition increases are just going to make my time here even longer than it needs to be.
The proposed tuition increases begin at $270 for undergrads, an increase for graduate and doctoral students. While these tuition increases seem high, they will still not be enough to cover the expected deficit. San Francisco State student government is currently drafting a resolution opposing these increases. ASI's VP of External Affairs, Celia Labuano Gonzalez, believes there may be another way.
One, restoring Cal grants into the public higher education system. Right now, the Cal grants are much of it is actually going to private institutions.
With tuition increases having doubled in the last decade, students can only hope that an alternate solution will be reached. Here at San Francisco State University, this is Michael Overby, State of Events.
UC, CSU, and California Community College education leaders have sent a joint statement to Donald Trump. The letter asks the president-elect to let the DACA program continue within the state of California. The Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals was implemented by President Obama in 2012. The program allows non-citizen students to continue their American public education.
With the end of the semester just around the corner, some SF State students are preparing for life after college. Tanya Zilke is live in the newsroom with the details.
Senioritis is very common at the end of the semester. However, for graduating seniors, there is no time for procrastination. Students who are graduating SF State this semester are excited to be receiving their degree. However, being able to show what they've learned from their education can be a challenge. SF student Caitlin Bryant is taking the steps to apply for jobs.
I recently wrote my first cover letter, which was exciting and nerve-wracking at the same time because it really opens your eyes into thinking, oh, okay, I don't have a lot of experience, but let me show you what I excel at.
Students may be feeling the pressure, but taking advantage of their resources is important.
So the first thing that I have done is really taken advantage of LinkedIn and added tons of people that I don't even know.
Networking is the common goal amongst students. Graduating senior Janice Alexander looks forward to connecting with people.
You know, I'm actually going to look on Craigslist. My partner is very resourceful, so she knows people in the field. You know, make some connections there. Networking, I'm more of a people person, so not too much searching because I'm not in a hurry.
Students are doing their best to stay focused, and congratulations to the graduating class of 2016. In the newsroom, Tanya Zelke, State of Events. Back to you guys in the studio.
When we come back, we have the update on the legal battle over public access to a beach. Reporter Chloe Ortega has the story.
And right after the break, we look at how traffic in the Bay Area has increased in the past year.
Claudia is a pre-med student in search of a global health experience. She desires a program abroad that provides cultural immersion. Claudia wants a credible program that affirms her interest in the medical field. Most importantly, she seeks an international, community-based health program. Claudia finds herself with Child Family Health International. How will you distinguish yourself? Visit cfhi.org.
I'm a pre-med student who is looking for a global health experience. I found Child Family Health International. I expected to be a visitor, but ended up completely immersed in the local culture. I wanted to meet people. Instead, I joined a family. I thought I would be reading textbooks. Instead, I gained clinical skills firsthand from local doctors. I wanted to change the world, and I let the world change me. Child Family Health International. How will you distinguish yourself? Visit cfhi.org.
Welcome back to State of Events.
The Bay Area no longer has a rush hour. Morning commuters are lasting longer, sometimes lasting until noon, and evening commutes are starting as early as 2 p.m.
Although more people are on the road, public transportation is full too. In a live report, State of Events' Nicolette Stewart explains why your commute is longer.
Thank you, Michael. You can blame the economy. More people are getting jobs, so more people have jobs to get to. So if it seems like over the past couple of years, your commute both to and from work have increased, it's because it has. People are leaving earlier, so that their commute doesn't become longer. According to the Department of Motor Vehicles, new registration for vehicles went up in the last 4 years. San Francisco, over 27,000 cars. San Mateo saw an increase of over 56,000, and Contra Costa added just over 86,000. According to the Metropolitan Transportation Commission, the time we spend sitting in traffic has increased by 70% since 2010. Researchers in the study say that the growth in the Bay Area and the improved job market are major factors in the congested traffic increase. The Metropolitan Transportation Commission is looking for ways to make things less hectic for everyone, but for the time being, people are still wasting hours of their lives sitting in traffic. According to a report by NRIC's analyst, with more jobs comes more drivers, and with more drivers, of course, comes more traffic. When there's more jobs, of course, there are more people, and with more people comes more cars. More information between traffic backups and also the job market will be located on our Facebook page. Here in San Francisco, I'm Nicolette Stewart, State of Events. Back to you in the studio.
The controversial legal battle on Martins Beach and its public access will come to a verdict this week. Reporter Chloe Ortega has an issue on the story.
Martins Beach is a hidden paradise in Half Moon Bay. For decades, locals have been going to this beach freely until 2 years ago. There's only one way in and only one way out. In order to get to this beach, you have to cross through this private property. Vinod Khosla bought this property 2 years ago. Before him, the Dini family lived here and charged a small fee for people to cross through to give people access to the beach.
When the Dinis owned the property, they lived there, and so if a car came down, wanted to enjoy the beach, they could walk out and collect the $3, the $7, the $10 that did go up over the years.
After Khosla purchased the property, he did not allow the public to cross through. Mike Wallace, a Surfrider Foundation activist, wrote a letter to Khosla to work out issues.
Co-authored a letter to send directly to Khosla to discuss it with us so that we could manage the issue. We're not against property rights. I'm a homeowner on the coast myself. Actually, in the letter to us, his lawyer suggested that they were pleased that Surfrider was pushing the issue because they wanted it to go to court, they wanted it to be tested, and they felt that, in fact, the law would side with them in the end.
Khosla, who has been under several legal battles for public access to Martins Beach, is suing San Mateo County, claiming that the county is violating his constitutional rights. The suit filed on September 30th states, a concerted effort by state and local officials to single out, coerce, and harass one coastal property and its owner for refusing to cede its private property rights. The State Lands Commission is considering whether to begin eminent domain proceedings to obtain a public right-of-way to Martins Beach. For now, the battle continues. Live from the studio, I'm Chloe Ortega, State of Events. Back to you guys.
This past weekend, the San Francisco Police Department brought out the holiday cheer, and for a good cause. It was a bright and sunny day when Good Samaritans made it out to brave the bay. Located near Ghirardelli Square, the signature charity event has it all. Star Wars, music from a live band, and of course, trolley car competitions. SFPD is looking to surpass their $100,000 record from last year, where all proceeds will go towards Make-A-Wish Foundation. And it looks like the crew in blue is going to reach that goal.
After their rocket launch explosion in September, SpaceX may need to stay on the ground. The American program's launch was aimed to replace old satellites. This is the first major setback for the company. Their winning streak included 6 rocket landings and 8 payload deliveries. SpaceX also has a contract as the main transport for the International Space Station. Hoping for the Federal Aviation Administration's okay, the Falcon 9 relaunch is set for December 16th.
By the year 2020, the U.S. Department of Labor says an estimated 1.4 million jobs will be created in computer technology. Reporter Alicia Mayo is in the newsroom with more on this story.
Department of Labor statistics also show women earn a mere 12% of all computer science degrees in the country, and only 3% of women earning those degrees will qualify and fill the highly skilled positions. So what about the future of women in technology? Here's what our President-elect Donald Trump announced.
I want the next generation of production and innovation to happen right here on our great homeland, America, creating wealth and jobs for American workers.
U.S. companies say they do understand that diversity and inclusion are good for business, so they're developing policies and programs every day directed at hiring and nurturing female talent.
The goal of WTP is to encourage these students to apply to colleges with engineering and computer science programs and to pursue these fields as their careers.
Girls Who Code, the WTP or Women's Technology Program at MIT, and other similar community chapters can be found across the country. I was happy to find here in our Bay Area backyard, Silicon Valley is already at work supporting diversity and inclusion for girls and women in technology, and that's pretty promising. I'm Alicia Mayo here in the newsroom for State of Events. Back to you in the studio.
Coming up, growing concerns over birth control options as President-elect Donald Trump is nearing office.
And we're getting into the holiday spirit with a look at a 2-story gingerbread house. We'll tell you where you can find more on that when we come back.
My kids have a decent and safe home. I contribute to Habitat for Humanity Greater San Francisco so others can too.
I'm taking a day out of my life to make a difference in the rest of theirs.
Habitat for Humanity gives my family hope and security for the future.
Habitat for Humanity Greater San Francisco is proud to be part of our local communities. Habitat for Humanity Greater San Francisco, building homes and hope in Marin, San Francisco, and the Peninsula.
Welcome back to State of Events. Donald Trump was announced the new president-elect last month. There were cheers of excitement and tears of disappointment. State of Events' Adriana Shepard is live now in the studio to explain why so many women have taken to social media to talk through their fears.
During his campaign, President-elect Trump promised to defund Planned Parenthood and repeal the Affordable Care Act. These possibilities have left some women nervous and scared about their futures with birth control options. If you were on Facebook or Twitter on the night and the day after the election, or just recently, you may have seen women write posts about their fears of President-elect Trump. Mainly that birth control may be harder to get and may be more expensive. So women advocated for other women to make appointments to get birth control, like IUDs, that will last through his elected term. American Studies student Ruby Dutcher was one of those women who wrote a Facebook post about her IUD.
Even if somehow my insurance no longer covers it because of some sort of federal regulation, I'm confident I will be able to shell out the $500 to continue to not get pregnant for however many years I want to not get pregnant on.
She is not concerned about herself. She is more worried about other women.
I mean, mostly low-income women in red states who need to get abortions or need to get health care.
Dutcher is just one of the many women who are advocating for other women to get birth control before Trump is inaugurated. Doctors say IUDs are one of the most effective birth control methods. A Portland, Oregon newspaper says Planned Parenthood offices in Oregon reported a spike in IUD appointments the day after the election. Appointments doubled November 9th and tripled the weekend after. I'm Adriana Shepard, State of Events. Michael, back to you.
Thanks, Andy. When it comes to battling this chilly weather, not much can warm you than a hot Irish coffee. The San Francisco Police Department worked some overtime at the Buena Vista Room this past weekend to help people get into the holiday spirit. One of San Francisco's many treasures, the Buena Vista Room is known for its signature Irish coffees, and San Francisco Police Department chipped in to raise money for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. It was a packed house all day, and officers were happily serving these delicious delicacies from start to finish.
This is probably not the first gingerbread house you've seen this holiday weekend, and it definitely won't be the last.
But it may be the biggest. The Fairmont Hotel in San Francisco is the only hotel to feature a 2-story gingerbread house made right in the middle of the lobby. Here's what reporter Nicolette Stewart had for her inside look.
Almost every hotel has a giant tree sitting in the middle of their lobby. But not every hotel has a giant gingerbread house. From the freight on the train, to the trim on the house, and even each brick in the mold that holds them together, every ounce of this 2-story gingerbread house is made from sweets. Standing at 22 feet tall and 23 feet wide, the team led by the head pastry chef here at the Fairmont Hotel spent weeks putting it together.
Planning the gingerbread house in June or July, and then after that we start the process of picking out candy and ordering products, and so actually the whole facade of the house is covered in bricks and they are attached with royal icing, so that everything that's on the house is actually edible. And then we have about 8,000 bricks stuck to the house with about 1,500 pounds of royal icing.
The idea of the fascinating gingerbread house is always a must-see for the season.
We definitely see people from all over the world come through, and even guests who aren't staying with us, they wait about 2 hours in line just to get in.
When people from the city constantly come back every year, the ideas of what to do with the house have to stay fresh.
Yeah, we try to do something a little bit different every year, whether it's changing a design or adding something or expanding it just a little bit. It's a relief that it's done. It's a lot of work. I don't think people have a comprehension of how much work goes into it, and so it's really good to sit back and just watch it during the opening. People come in and they're just blown away by it.
Each year, the gingerbread house takes center stage as a lobby and fills the halls with its sweet smells. However, the Fairmont's other holiday decorations are impressive in their own right. The lobby is open to the public and the display is up until January 1st. Here in San Francisco, I'm Nicolette Stewart, State of Events.
When we come back, many are familiar with the Warriors, but what about the Road Warriors? We have an exclusive story on the team.
And we profile a former fencing athlete who's getting back into the game. His story and more when we return.
Working with Habitat for Humanity Greater San Francisco, I didn't just build a child's room. I built a space for a child's creativity to run wild.
My contribution to Habitat for Humanity funded not only a house, but a place where memories can be made.
Because of Habitat for Humanity, I moved into a house and my family is making it a home.
Habitat for Humanity Greater San Francisco, building homes and hope in Marin, San Francisco, and the Peninsula.
Welcome to Sports on State of Events. I'm Michelle Gong. Let me introduce you to the Road Warriors. They are Golden State's official wheelchair basketball team. In the early 2000s, they won a couple of national championships, but last year, they had their worst season in 25 years. State of Events' Victor Anguiano is live in the newsroom to explain why the team has been struggling in recent years.
Well, Michelle, the Road Warriors know they haven't been playing to their potential, but they understand the problems didn't start on the basketball court. It started when they needed a little bit of this.
In the last 5 years, the Road Warriors have received a $5,000 donation from the Warriors. As you can see in this graph, back in the early 2000s, the team had more than $25,000 in sponsorships. Unfortunately today, that's not the case.
We would love to be able to have our full season funding without doing as many individual fundraising and different things like that to raise the funding.
According to the team, losing their Southwest Airlines and Coca-Cola sponsorship cut their funding by half. Road Warriors team captain Chuck Gill says traveling is not cheap when you have a disability, so having financial support would help the team get back on track.
You know, we've always been one of the top teams, and playing some of the other top teams that's how your team gets better. That's how you move up in rankings, and that's how you have a better opportunity of winning national championships.
I did reach out to the Warriors, but unfortunately with the NBA season going on, they weren't able to comment. Gil did tell me that both sides are working together to create more funding. Live in the newsroom, Victor Anguiano, State of Events. Michelle, back to you.
The San Francisco Giants have made their first big splash of the offseason. The Giants have reportedly agreed to a 4-year, $62 million contract with free agent closer Mark Melancon regarding pending a physical. The contract makes Melancon the highest paid reliever to date.
Melancon is coming off a season in which he recorded a 1.64 ERA and 47 saves, which was second most in the majors. The Giants bullpen, which blew a franchise record 30 saves last season, will see a significant upgrade with this signing. Melancon led the National League in saves in 2015. Let's move on to the Niners, who lost 26-6 against the Chicago Bears on Sunday. Colin Kaepernick struggled in the cold and snow as he went 1 of 5 passing with no touchdowns or interceptions. Kaepernick became the first quarterback in NFL history to be sacked 5 times and throw for fewer than 5 yards in a game. He was benched in the fourth quarter for backup Blaine Gabbert. Kaepernick says that he understands the decision and that it's not personal.
You know, that's not my decision. My feelings on it really don't matter at this point. I'm just going to do everything I can to make sure I'm prepared.
Kaepernick says that the weather conditions were difficult to overcome, but he's not using it as an excuse.
I think the weather was something that definitely played a factor. We have to be able to do a better job managing that, handling it, and being able to throw the ball still.
Head coach Chip Kelly says that Kaepernick will start in their next game at home against the New York Jets this Sunday. Now in college sports, Andrew Bry is here to tell us about the Women's Soccer Championship, which was in San Jose this past weekend. Andrew?
How's it going, viewing public? Michelle, always good to be here in front of the monitor with you. Now, I was in Avaya Stadium this weekend, and the NCAA was hosting the College Cup to showcase some of women's soccer. And in the final round, it was USC who took on the University of West Virginia to crown a champion.
Wow.
Fans in San Jose were treated to a thrilling matchup in the national championship, and it was USC who opened the scoring with just 2 minutes played as Morgan Andrews guides the ball in with her head. And after some halftime inspiration, West Virginia would answer. Ashley Lawrence took a pure strike from distance to lock it up at 1-1. However, USC would not be outdone. With the help of some clever link-up play, Katie Andrews has the composure to tuck away this ball in the corner of the net. And that's not all from Katie. She scored this beauty on a brilliant counterattack to bring the Natty back to Los Angeles. A deservedly fired-up Trojans team wins it with a final score of 3-1.
The other side of things, when you fought so hard all season long, but that...
And after all that hard work, this team will be remembered in the NCAA history books. This is the second national title for the USC women's program, and well-deserved if you ask me. Fight on.
Now, fencing has been in the Summer Olympics since 1896, so the dream of any fencer is to represent their country at the Games.
But for Salvadorian fencer Joaquin Tobar, an injury disqualified him from going to Rio. State of Events Victor Anguiano met with him to learn how an athlete's life can change within a matter of seconds.
On March of 2016, during the Olympic qualifiers, Joaquin Tobar tore his left Achilles tendon, but continued to compete in hopes of qualifying to Rio. Now looking back, the Salvadorian fencer says he regrets making that decision. We mature within the sport. I mean, either way, we have to continue and start to think what we want to do as a professional. So that's exactly what he did. Tobar has gone back to school and will receive his degree in architecture within a year. But the best news for the 29-year-old is that he'll be able to return to competitive fencing in May of 2017. And for his wife Eileen, Tobar will continue to shine as a fencer.
I think that he can do whatever he sets his mind to. I wouldn't be surprised if he came back, if he decided to train and he made the Olympics.
Not only will Tobar try to make the Olympics for the first time, he says he's learned a valuable lesson. This break has helped me think what I have to do if I really want to succeed. And the truth is that I do. We can't stop fighting because it would be irresponsible.
The road for Tokyo 2020 is very long for Tovar, but he understands as long as he has this on his side, he'll be okay. Reporting from Palo Alto, Victor Anguiano, State of Events.
And that's going to be it for today's State of Events.
Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week.